So what does a stronger dollar mean for Americans? There's only so much we can learn from the big numbers. So I want to talk to a small business owner and get the real story of what happens when U.S. goods get more expensive for customers in other countries. It's bad news for U.S. exporters like Gotcha Goat, the goat meat business run by entrepreneur David Martin, who's joining us now from Atlanta. David, great to see you again. We've enjoyed following your story, the story of a business that started really here. It was a domestic business. You were making meat products for the domestic market. You've started exporting. So a stronger dollar should help you at home, but it hurts you when you're trying to sell your goods overseas.
Well, actually, Ali, it also hurts us at home. You got to consider, as someone indicated, that when our dollar goes up, imported goods become cheaper. One of the problems that we encounter is that 90% of the goat meat sold in the United States is imported from Australia and New Zealand. This is a cheaper product. It's an inferior product, generally what we refer to as a feral animal that runs loose. And the other part of that is that that meat may be frozen 2 years and customs will still allow it in. So the farmer has to compete with this item, and we're trying to help the farmer build their existence as well as putting these products into the marketplace.
David, when we started talking about your business, the idea that you would be exporting to country, I mean, people who watch these segments find them fascinating that, you were exporting to Brazil, a place that, is a meat producing country. This was a hedge against a slowdown in North America. Now you've got the opposite problem. You're seeing slowdowns in some of these other markets, compounded with a stronger dollar that makes it more expensive to buy your goods.
This is very true. One of the things we also have to look at is we're running into other problems, supply and demand, as the other guest spoke about a few moments ago. Just like in the products going to Brazil and the pork business. We had a situation where American pork is not owned by America anymore. You have to understand that China bought Smithfield, which is the largest pork producer. So they're exporting a lot of our pork. Plus, we had a major disease last year, a diarrhea virus that killed off a lot of our pork product.
So now tell me about how your business has evolved. When you started, were you 100% American products for an American audience, and how has that evolved over time?
Well, we are still working a lot in the domestic market. I would say probably 80% of everything we're doing is still based on a domestic market. Probably about 20% between all the companies we're involved in are exporting. We find that there are some ups and downs. Sometimes we're able to do real well in exporting. Sometimes we realize because of the dollar, we're not selling as much because we're not as competitive in those markets as we once were.
And how quickly do you see that happening? I mean, do you see that over a course of months or half a year, or can you see it in a matter of weeks when the dollar strengthens versus somebody else's currency, or when the U.S. Economy shows strength versus a slower Brazilian economy?
I mean, it took several months. I mean, it's not immediate. Like right now, we're still waiting on the impact as to how it will really affect our business. We are looking and talking to our team, and we're making some assumptions based on where we see things going, where we see prices going. Do we anticipate that the prices of imported product will be cheaper? Yes, which we realize will hurt us a lot because of the strong dollar. The farmer wants more money for their product, which will hurt us when we try to sell that product in a grocery store. If I go to a grocery store and tell them I want $4 or $5 for a U.S. domestic goat product, he'll look at me and tell me that's not acceptable because he can get that same product for $2.50 coming in from Australia.
But this is the complexity of being a global businessman now. Are you rethinking your philosophy of hedging your bets about doing business in America and exporting, or do you think it's the right thing for the long term?
No, I think it's the right thing for the long term. I mean, we wouldn't change. What we have to do is find some economies like the United Arab Emirates, which is not having the same impact, and we can still sell USDA products to those parts of the world. See, they want USDA products, and they're willing to pay the cost. So a higher dollar won't impact their buying strategies.
All right. Good to talk to you, as always, David. We'll continue to follow your success and appreciate all these risks that you're taking and you're sharing with our own viewers. David Martin joining me from Atlanta.